The story begins. She immediately chants and activates the skill toward the passage entrance. The formation disappeared and an opening was revealed. Feeling the gust of wind, they realize the exit was near and decide to give chase. This time, the vampires were finally out of the cave. All of them crouched down at once. But after a moment, there was only a deafening silence. One of the vampires asks Rhoda where is the explosion. After thinking for a second, he finds it impossible to misfire since he also installed a backup. Eventually, they assume it is the mage who defused it, so they decide to run. Sunran's party arrives at the exit, but the destroyers have already disappeared using a concealment skill, leaving the game admin no way to find them. Sunran decides to see if someone is lying in wait outside. He sends a rain of ice stings, but none of it hit. Far away, the vampire was holding a sniper rifle, expecting Sunran's probing. Concluding there was no one outside, Sunran asks Bai Tingshuan to send a paper puppet. She agrees and a puppet appears in her hand. There is some movement in the cave's entrance. Paper Sunran emerges out of it, but it was instantly obliterated by a bullet. Sunran was amazed at the destroyers for bringing the sniper rifle in the Middle Ages, so he decided to send more paper puppets. A group of paper puppets went outside and a hail of bullets obliterated them again. After shooting another batch of paper puppets, the vampire started to give up. He will head over to Istanbul, and since there is a change of plans, the other two will go to the capital of the duchy. After they were informed that the destroyers escaped, they wanted to chase, but Sunran stops them. He tells them to be cautious and that he will go first. Discovering there is no enemy outside, they slowly exited the cave. Bai Tingshuan cast the Divine Step formation, allowing everyone to run as if they are flying. Thereafter, the groups split up. Sunran's group will go to Targov East, while King Key's group will go to Istanbul. The chief admin also informs everyone about the activation of a powerful data monitoring system to keep them updated about the destroyers. On the cliff, they saw the vampires running within the forest and decides to chase them. Sunran then casts the skill Wing Bridge. The girls glide down toward the forest. After keeping their altitude, they chase after the vampire. After a moment, Sunran also followed suit. A magic circle materialized beneath his feet, and from the top of the cliff, he jumps down to chase the other vampire. The vampire notices Sunran's figure and decides to buy more time for his companions. Sunran attacked the vampire with countless ice swirls, but the vampire manages to jump sideways and evaded his attack. Although he survived, he laments how silent Sunran's spells are. Right then, he steps out of hiding and shoots Sunran, who is making his way toward him. However, the bullet is blocked by an ice shield. Right then, the ice swirl that he dodged earlier activated again and ambushed him. Caught off guard, the vampire is easily defeated. He pleaded for Sunran to stop, but Sunran's staff was quickly aimed at his head. The next second, the vampire exploded. Right then, a girl's scream echoed through the forest. Sunran recognized the voice came from Care. Right now, they were facing another vampire. Sunran arrives as reinforcement. He casts the cure spell on Care's decapitated arm and tells her to hide away for a while. The vampire casts fireballs, and they hurled toward Bai Tingshuan's way. Sunran hurriedly chanted a frost rune, and they successfully blocked the vampire's attack. The vampire asks if Rhoda is killed. Without waiting for a reply, he casts another bunch of fireball at Bai Tingshuan. Sunran casts ice shields to block the fireballs, and at the same time, he sends a couple of ice attacks at the vampire. The vampire steps back and remains unharmed. He casts another fireball with a smile. After confirming Bai Tingshuan was unharmed, Sunran tells her to keep her distance from the fight. He blocks the huge fireballs and sends another ice spell at the vampire. Realizing he could not match Sunran's casting speed, the vampire casts the defense spell. However, his shield shattered against the impact of Sunran's spells. After he was pushed back, another batch of ice magic attacks chased for him. The vampire was left without a choice and activated the ring on his finger. It emitted a magic circle and activated the earth shield, shattering the ice spells upon contact with it. With the shield activated, the vampire launches massive fireballs. He even aims at Bai Tingshuan, who is far away. Sunran barely defended against it with his ice shields. He cast another spell called Explosive Heat, and threw it at the vampire. The massive ball of energy erupted and devoured the ground. After the dust settled, the vampire remained standing behind his shield. However, the shield begins to shatter. Sunran appeared and was prepared to attack when the vampire gleamed with radiance. Within the blink of an eye, a sniper rifle appeared in his hands, and without hesitation, he shoots Sunran. In the game station, everyone in front of the screen thought it was over. However, at that moment, the air seemed to have frozen. The bullet going for Sunran's head twisted from its trajectory. The game admin's jaw dropped at this sight. Meanwhile, the vampire broke into a cold sweat, realizing Sunran could exert his spiritual energy to influence the bullet, a testament to his ability to control data. He immediately turned tail. This time, Care decides to log out since she was useless. Sunran agrees since she was not disabled and it is only a game. After freezing his wife, Sunran chased the vampire. While they were chasing, the vampire begs to let him go since he only wants to make ends meet. Bai Tingshuan then detected there are knights ahead. Sun Ran asks the vampire if his bat army will come. After it is confirmed, he resolves to kill the vampire as soon as possible. The vampire suddenly turns around and takes his sniper rifle to take advantage of the situation. However, Sun Ran was quick to respond and cast a layer of ice shields. The vampire is helpless against it and started to run again. He activated his vampire burst skill, leaving Sun Ran behind. And although the skill Sun Ran launched at him had missed, the vampire hopes his reinforcement would immediately come. Not far away, an army of knights galloped with frightening speed. The reinforcements have finally arrived. Bai Tingshuan decides to hold them back so Sun Ran could deal with the vampire. She waves her hand and dozens of paper puppets appeared. An eerie mist pervaded the air, summoning the army of the undead. The leader of the knights points at Bai Tingshuan and commands everyone to stop her. She says goodbye to Sun Ran and resolves to meet again in the enforcer's headquarters. Sun Ran could only accept the situation and let her suffer. At that moment, the army charged at each other. Meanwhile, Sun Ran continued to chase the vampire. They arrive at the river, startling the people around. The vampire is now in a panic. He used blood float step and run over the river. However, Sun Ran remained chasing, using a skill of his own, causing the people around dumbfounded. In the game station, the chief admin commands Sun Ran to finish the destroyer quickly since other people will make a complaint after they log out. Hearing the chief admin, Sun Ran asks about Lan Xin's situation and discovered they were dealing with the leader. He finally turned serious, casting a couple of ice swirls. The vampire chose to swim in the river to hide. He will head to the deepest part and ambush Sun Ran for a counterattack. Unknown to him, Sun Ran predicted his plans. He cast an ice spell. The river instantly froze as though the ice age dawns again. The vampire is shocked at the sudden turn of the situation. Realizing the consequences, he prepared to escape. But it was too late. He discovers he is just dancing in the palm of Sun Ran's hand. In the end, no matter how much he struggled, he could not escape alive. This time, the chief admin informs Sun Ran of Jing Qi's death and Lan Xin's injury. Knowing he could not rush over at this moment, he asks about Jing Qi's corpse. The chief admin says Jing Qi's brain is unharmed and wonders if Sun Ran will possess his body. Sun Ran winks at the chief admin, saying he only needs his brain to turn the situation around. A moment later, Sun Ran wakes up in Jing Qi's body. On the side, Lan Xin is facing the leader of the destroyers. The vampire tells her to give up, but Lan Xin retorts that her companions are nearby to ambush him. Hearing her words, the vampire laughs. He just needs to catch his breath, kill Lan Xin, and go elsewhere to escape. Lan Xin points the crossbow at the vampire, ready to shoot at any moment. But right now, the vampire's injury is completely healed. The moment the vampire attacked, Lan Xin also fired her crossbow. The vampire stares at the arrow as if it was very slow. He steps aside, easily dodging it. Right now, he was glad for the change in plans, otherwise, he had met Sun Ran on the way. At this moment, Lan Xin is informed of Sun Ran's arrival nearby. She is asked to drop her crossbow and lure the vampire towards Sun Ran while fighting him with her sword. Lan Xin asks the vampire for a duel, but he underestimates her. In the game station, a worker's abnormal data link is located. The chief admin arrives and quickly stops the traitor. However, she disappears, and it was then revealed that the real worker was unconscious and supposed to be traitor was an intruder. After learning the game station's blunder, Sun Ran requested an increase in commission, fee to which the chief admin immediately agreed with the condition that they complete the mission. In-game, the vampire wonders what the meaning of watching out for Jing Qi is and concludes he might be given another body to ambush him. The battle then starts in a flash. Lan Xin's sword shattered at once as she swung it at the vampire's shield. The vampire chased for her, eventually giving Sun Ran a chance. The vampire halted his advance and dodged the incoming arrow from his side. It was Sun Ran's attack. He controls the crossbow with his spiritual energy, giving the vampire a hard time dodging the hail of fire. The vampire notices his injury has reopened. Right then, the arrow arrives before him, and an explosion erupted with a loud bang. He activated his shield on time and now it is full of cracks. However, he knows the arrows are limited and he only needs to keep on dodging and it will be his win. After his injury got healed, he activated his blood shield burst again. Now there is only one arrow left. He asks Sun Ran to bring it on. After activating another blood shield, he evaded the last arrow with ease. But at that moment, a smile appeared on Sun Ran's face. The arrow changed direction and aimed at the vampire. He activated his blood shield charge and leaped into the air, dodging the arrow again. The crucial moment came, and Lan Xin was stunned. The vampire widely grins, and the fight concludes with his victory. But when he landed, he felt something amiss and froze in place. Even Lan Xin and the game admin are surprised after seeing his expression. The vampire raised his foot and saw an injury, and at the next second, it began to crack. The vampire finally realized he is only played by Sun Ran like a fool. He heartily laughed and admits defeat. Thereafter, his body exploded. On the side, Sun Ran held the broken blade which he used to defeat the vampire. Lan Xin then approaches and thanks him for his hard work. The mission is now complete. The Rubik's Cube of Order. Care is happily praising herself for receiving an outstanding evaluation grade. Even Lan Xin and Care were graded the same and received an additional merit. However, Sun Ran only received a perfect evaluation grade instead of a legendary grade because of the commotion he caused in the river fight. Lan Xin says it is fine and they all have done well. She then tells Sun Ran about everyone's decision. He is now the team leader of the Roses of Thorns. Care and Bai Tingshuan also congratulated Sun Ran on his promotion and expressed their faith in him. Sun Ran happily accepts the position, giving him the ability to contact admins at any time. Care then informed everyone that Jing Qi transferred credit points to their account, so they decided to log out and have a gathering in the real world. They chose a tour of the garden. Lan Xin and Sun Ran arrive at the long-distance station. She tells him that Care is near, and as soon as she arrives, Sun Ran praised her beauty. The girl approached them and flattered Lan Xin, making her blush. She then looks at Sun Ran, complimenting him for being more handsome in the real world. This time, another girl arrives. She then greets everyone. On the side, Sun Ran is smiling like a fool after seeing his wives in real life. In the garden, Sun Ran's group appreciated the view as they walk on the street. Right then, he proposes to apply for residence after their assets reach $1 million to stay together in the garden. Hearing the price, Care was disappointed since she only had 1,000. After being asked, Lan Xin tells them that together with Sun Ran they only had 1,000. Sun Ran then reveals he had severe heart disease in the past and Lan Xin spent her money on a heart transplant for him. The other wives were full of sadness, asking why Sun Ran did not tell them earlier, but Lan Xin dismisses the unhappiness. And right then, they decided to work hard together and earn $1 million in a year, after which, they visited the ocean park and also went shopping. The night came, and Sun Ran was filled with bags of clothes. They then proceeded to dinner. The night was peaceful, and soon, the beautiful fireworks bloomed in the sky, making his wives wish for the day not to end. After having fun, Lan Xin tells everyone to gather in the Enforcer's HQ to upgrade their abilities and accept a new mission. But before going home, they took a picture. In the training room, they are discussing their skills when Sun Ran heard about Virtual World Battleground. Lan Xin tells him that they will go there to hone their fighting skills. Sun Ran brings Bai Tingshuan with him to cultivate the longevity art. With a blush, she asks Sun Ran how to do it. He tells her to sit in any way she likes as long as she is comfortable. They started their cultivation and Sun Ran chanted a mysterious mantra. Bai Tingshuan suddenly felt a mysterious energy coursing through her body. Sun Ran then tells her she is now a Taoist disciple, so she wants to address him as her master. However, Sun Ran disagrees, so she could only treat him as a teacher. This time, Care arrives. She is mad for being defeated by the underhanded tactics of an illusionist called Jasmine. After she cried in Sun Ran's embrace, he decides to take a look. On the screen, Care pointed at Jasmine as though she was a mortal enemy. Seeing her high win rate, he decides to take her on. At this moment, the people around the arena burst into cheers, predicting Sun Ran will be trashed by Jasmine's illusions. Annoyed by their chatter, Care confronts them. Sun Ran then tells her to ignore their words, because he will demonstrate how he will defeat Jasmine.
That's it for today. If you like this video, don't forget to like and subscribe. Thanks for watching.